Comic fam, we are now going to get into a very, very long story. Not that long, actually. I met Ryan years ago, and we've grown so much in the comic space that I think we should give people an update, a little bit about us, how we met. How did this all happen, Ryan? Because
we met at
you were here from the very
McDonald's
beginning.
like 3 weeks ago, and you said, "Hey, I need help with this podcast. Can someone help me?" And you just kind of announced it generally to the restaurant at large.
Yep.
I was like wiping ketchup off my face, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do it."
It was sweet and sour sauce.
Oh, see, I'm already forgetting the finer details.
And you can't forget about the sweet and sour. No, for those of you who don't know, I've met Ryan. Actually, I hired Ryan. Fire guy was hired when I was working at the bank. For those of you who don't know,
Hired guy.
I started off my adult career at I just hit my elbow so hard. Oh, funny bone. Wow. That's real.
That's the dangers of moving
That is
too much.
real. That just happened.
Just
okay.
don't move. You'll be safe.
Oh my goodness. Yes, comic fam, hit the like button. Slap the subscribe button.
Pennies.
My elbow is on fire right now. Ryan, shoot out pennies out of your hands.
It doesn't shoot. It just kind of
It just rolls.
plops out.
Got this.
Like a poop.
So I met Ryan at the bank. So when I was 18, I got a job as a teller at Wells Fargo. Seemed like a good idea. And then I just figured out how to move up the chain. I was managing branches by age 21. They would send me to a new location that they were opening, and I was the guy at the desk in the suit, opening the location for the first time, establishing some of the first accounts and working with the first accounts of the community where that Wells Fargo was.
Like the Wolf
Union
of Wall
Bank.
Street is what I'm imagining right now, basically. The
They
movie.
had had jokes like that because I looked so young.
Right.
But it was definitely one of those situations where it was like, oh, he is a go-getter, and here's an example of what you can do if you work hard at the bank. So I was kind of being used in that way. But I was also good at my job. And a big part of it was managing the location. I did less of the customer-facing stuff unless I needed to. And I got a lot of experience dealing with some really upset people, some challenging times. When someone has a financial crisis, you're dealing with that. You're learning about finances. And I'm 21, 22 years old. I barely have my own finances figured out at that point. And I'm telling people stuff I'm learning from training and this is how you get set up for retirement. As I'm
just out of high school.
I'm out of high school, whatever they were thinking. But at the time, I was getting awards for being the youngest manager of Wells Fargo in the country. I don't know if it was of all time in their history, but at that time, they
should
were
have those displayed.
Yeah, I have some really funny pictures because I just didn't care that much. I was I was doing it, but I'm a prankster at heart. So whenever I got pictures with VPs or something, I knew it was so much for show that I would I'd do faces with them and stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But not that drastic because I had to keep my job. But it was definitely wow, he kind of looks weird in that picture. And I'm I know. I like that. But anyways, so I was opening branches. I was working at established stores, right? I would move around. I started as assistant manager, but then I started doing the higher level stuff. And I would manage the mortgage. I would manage the the mortgage section, the financial advisor section, the bankers, the teller team, the assistants, what they call service managers who deal with the vault and the counting and the ordering of money and all that kind of stuff. So I needed some tellers at this particular location in Linwood, and I was only hiring people getting that experience for a year or so. So I was kind of new at it, but I was figuring it out. And then I needed a teller. I interviewed a few tellers, and then this guy, fire guy Ryan, he walked in the door. He sat down, and I interviewed you. And that's actually the first time we met. So why don't you take over? What happened from there on out?
Well, my perspective, I'm going to rewind, because while you were storming the gates of capitalism and dominating Wells Fargo at 20 years old, I was working at the food court at the mall. And
where were you working at the food court?
I worked at Cinnabon for a while.
You worked at Cinnabon?
In the mall. Yeah.
I don't even remember you telling me you worked at Cinnabon.
That was my first real job.
Did you get Cinnabon
I did.
for free?
I did. And
it
was a great
dangerous
week of my life. So I was sick. I'm bringing all these home. I got food for days.
I got Cinnabon for days, he says.
It was
Oh my gosh. That's
It was really cool
ridiculous.
for like a week. And then I brought, you keep bringing them home and you're like, geez, goddamn. I hate this.
I hate Cinnabons too much.
The important part was everybody else loves cinnamon rolls. So people who came up, I would see a lot of people coming up from other places at the mall, including the manager of GameStop would come up, get coffee every day, and I would hook him up. He's like, hey, it's a free coffee, bro. I'm cool. And eventually he's like, you want a job? Do you like working here? So I was like, sure, let's have an interview. And I managed to parlay that job into a GameStop job. I ended up working at like Jamba Juice for a year. I had a little bit of a mall career right out of high school. But then the mall,
Stuff.
There's a ceiling on that.
Yeah, you can only make so much.
Exactly. So I was like, I need a big kid job. And my mommy was like, you should work at a bank, Ryan. That's an adult job.
Anthony Perone says he also got free diabetes.
That's true. No, I had to pay for that.
You had to pay. You had to pay
extra.
extra. It's for the extra sauce on top.
Yeah.
The cream cheese and the frosting. You know what's funny? Before you move away from the Cinnabon gig story, when I was younger, one of the first times my parents, like sometimes your parents, not sometimes, but it's like, there's a point where they feel comfortable leaving the kids at home alone. And typically it starts off slow, like, hey, we're going to go out to eat. We'll be back by 6. Don't mess up. Don't leave the house. Keep it locked. Watch TV, but we're going to trust you. And then eventually it's hey, we're going to be gone all day. And then it's hey, we're going to be gone for the day or the weekend, And that's when kids, they start having parties and stuff and it starts getting crazy. No parents, no rules. The first time my parents left for like 6 hours, right? My mom was pregnant with my sister. So she and my dad, they went to like a parenting class for the day. It was like an all Saturday type of thing. So I stayed at home to play PlayStation all day.
Hell yeah.
My mom bought me a Cinnabon.
Oh, no.
She's like, hey, Tom, we got you Cinnabon. Put it in the microwave for 15 seconds.
Oh, no.
20 seconds. Okay. I think she said 20 seconds. And
Sure.
I'm like, I'm watching Lizzie McGuire,
Who wasn't?
or famous Jet Jackson. I'm distracted as you can be. I mean, the show is that damn good. And I'm like, oh yeah, 20 minutes? Sure. So they leave and I'm like,
that's a bad parenting class
rules.
there, man. Right.
I'm ready to
I
go.
got their money back for that one.
I'm going to be like by myself. And I put that Cinnabon in for 20 minutes. And then I go back to watch my famous Jet Jackson or whatever it was. Actually, you know what? Kind of what I remember. It may be wrong, but it was the...
Luck of the Irish.
That was a great one, but it wasn't that one. It was the Xenon.
Ooh.
Girl of the 21st Century. I think that's what it was. You make my heart go boom, boom.
My supernova girl.
God, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's why he's my
Protozoa,
best friend.
baby.
You freaking know. All right, so I'm watching this movie or show, and I look to the right, and I'll never forget it. Smoke and flames are just
billowing out of it.
But the thing is they're in it, like it's in the microwave, so it's contained, but there is smoke protruding out from the top. And then, of course, your initial reaction is, I got to open it up. So I run to open it, and then smoke piles into the house. So this 8 hours of me, like, independent Tom, I got a Cinnabon, I'm going to play PlayStation, it's going to be a good Lizzie McGuire marathon day, turned into hide the smoke smell from my parents.
You can't do it.
And then I'm also thinking microwaves have to be ungodly expensive. I'm not going to be able to get my Game Boy Color. My mom's like, I have to replace the microwave maybe. So I'm cleaning the microwave. And I'm little, guys. This is like, I'm like 10 years old,
I got a microwave story to tell after this.
Okay.
Quick.
Microwave.
It's
This
really
is all
quick.
about us meeting, but what
We're
do you
going
do?
down these tangents, man.
But anyways, 8 hours of me trying to clean the house, trying to cover up a smoke smell to have it be foiled. As soon as my dad walks in, why does it smell like smoke?
Damn it.
Yeah, it's like, damn it. The whole day was ruined and it didn't work. Anyways, talk to me. Microwave story.
I made a mess on the microwave. The tray that rotates?
Yes,
I was definitely older.
I
than
do
you.
know about the tray that rotates in the microwave.
The glass
tray.
surface. You can take
Comic
it out.
fam, do you know about what we're talking about? The glass
The inside of a microwave.
on the inside of the microwave
Right.
that goes in a circle?
You take it out and you scrub it under the sink, right? When it gets too gross.
Well, you're supposed to do it before it gets too gross, but yes.
Sure. At a certain point in my childhood, it got really gross.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's lame. I got to clean this. I don't want to clean it, And I look over at the oven, and I see the oven has a self-cleaning option. You just turn it on and it cleans the whole thing, right? So I'm like, that's got to work for microwaves too.
You just put it in the oven?
So I just, no. I just went to the microwave and I just turned it on for like a minute with nothing in it.
Oh, you just wanted to blast it away.
Just to cook the heat, to cook all the trash off.
It's like you're going to teleport the
That's not how it works.
The garbage. That's
The gamma radiation in the microwave.
yeah, you're trying to gamma radiate it.
It has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It went into the glass thing and it just cracked. Like right in half. Like it broke the whole thing because I guess there's nothing in there to absorb.
How long did you put it in?
No, I don't remember.
Because those things are in there like
I just heard like
stuff.
a really scary like clunk, like a breaking noise. Like, oh, crap.
Wow. This is amazing stuff because I'll also recall, because I'm going to bring it back to how I met Fire Guy Ryan. We have had microwave videos on this show. We've put comics in the microwave before.
Yep.
So full circle. Back to the bank.
I got my mom was like, you need a big boy job, Ryan. You're an adult. You can stop working at the mall. Let's get you a job at the bank.
Someplace with insurance, Ryan.
Right. And you can wear a suit and a tie and you be a real man.
Be a real man,
right.
Ryan.
So I went to the bank. I had an interview with you.
Did your mom actually tell you need to be a real man?
This was mostly from my mom. She's like, you need to work at a bank. That's a grown-up's job. You don't want to work at the food court anymore. Okay. And I was like, you're right, Mom. I'm an adult now. I'm gonna be a grown-up. So I went and got a nice little shirt with a tie on it. I went and had an interview with you. And I remember afterwards, I wrote a letter.
Yeah.
You remember that? My mom was like, you got to write a letter. You got to write a letter.
Yeah, you did.
And tell them you're interested afterwards. Thanks for the interview. Whatever. It was nice. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Ryan had the job before he even did this letter. I'll let the community know, a little foreshadowing. I had him.
You hear that,
He
Mom?
was locked in after the interview. And you want to know something funny? All the things that got you the job, I'm sure your mom would have not, she would have recommended you not talk about in the interview. She's like, go be a big boy, talk about how you can count money, how you can talk to customers, how you can sell and be responsible. What did we talk about in the interview?
How did we get to talking about comic books?
I think
it came up.
You had
there was
mentioned
someone else
that
in there too. It was not just you and me. There was another manager in the room too.
That's right.
She didn't want anything to do with comic books.
Shout out Nicole. She was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
See? Okay. I forgot.
Yeah.
I already replaced it with Ava in my head. But no, it was Nicole. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so this guy, she was awesome. So we did the teller stuff, but then we asked, what do you like to do for fun? And you said you like to play video games. You also enjoyed superheroes, like you enjoyed comic books, reading. And no, I think what you said is you enjoy reading. And then I asked you, oh, are you into comic books? And you said yes. And at some point you let it slip that you had a Green Lantern tattoo.
Right, which is probably not a good job interview thing to say, unless you're...
I'm like, look at my Hellboy tattoo.
Look at the sleeve I have.
Under my...
Like, you had like a long... We both had long shirts on, so I couldn't show you my tattoo.
I think I rolled mine up. I'm like, oh, I got stuff. I got turtles here. There's Ryan.
There's a Green Lantern tattoo on my very pale arm.
So at the time, I had been... Dude, I was 21, 22 years old, right? I had been like 22 at this point. And I was running things. I could do what I wanted. So I'll tell you, I was on eBay a lot. And when you buy a lot of comics off eBay, you want to get that shipped right. And I actually figured out that the way you can overcome your mailman bending your crap in stuffing it in your mailbox.
That's why you did that. Okay. I
just put the Wells Fargo address and shipped all my comics to the branch. So I'd go to work and I'd have packages and I'd do my unboxing there. And then I would be like, this is why I need my soundboard. I need like a phone ball. I click the little button and I call the teller line. I need to speak to Ryan.
Very important business meeting we have to have right over here.
Yo, Ryan, you got to go check this collection out. And then Ryan's gonna be like, Tom needs me. And I
need to go speak to the boss, you guys. I'll be right back.
Like, he's being managed by someone else.
Yeah.
But I'm that person's boss. So whatever I said, all right, Tom needs to talk to you. I could talk to Ryan for like a half hour, and it's like Tom's having a one-on-one meeting. Right, and I'm over there showing him my recent Bowen statue that I had delivered to the branch.
I'll remember the Giant Man. That's the one I always remember because it was enormous. It was a big box.
Dude, Giant Man was like, it was tall. Tall statue. That was
had a Black Widow, if I remember correctly, there at your desk too. Your desk at your bank office was decked out like this room.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad, but it was good times.
And I remember you put me in your phone as Fire Guy Ryan.
Oh, right out the gate.
Like, this is not a Instagram, YouTube creation for me. This was...
Your name was Ryan. It was too easy. And you also enjoyed The Office. And all throughout my rise in banking, I worked at branches that, hey, if you did your job really well, you kind of got away with doing whatever you wanted to do. So I brought all my seasons of The Office on DVD to the break room, and everyone loved The Office. So we just had it playing all day long. And we would just pop a disc in and let it play. And then whoever was, someone walked in, pop another disc in. So there was always Office playing all throughout the day. I carried that type of energy over to my branches. So in my break room, I had The Office, of course, but I also had a Sega Genesis and I had a Nintendo 64. I had Super Smash Brothers and Sonic. And on my break, I would go back there and play video games. And I think I told you that. Hey, we can go and play some Super Smash right now if you want. And
I remember...
That got you the job.
I went into the break room one day and I saw on the fridge it was like a magnet or a sticker or something, and it had this weird guy with the mustache who I'd never seen before, and it said the Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness.
Yes, I put that up on the fridge
at work, and I was like, this guy must be like the corporate manager, the district manager or something. I don't know who Ron Swanson is, so I had never seen Parks and Rec at the time.
Gee, I don't mess around with my Parks and Rec and my Office vibes, dude. Come on.
It was definitely there.
So that's how we met. We'd also meet Heron Heavens around this time as well. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward, we would stay in touch. We'd stay friends. You and Aaron actually started to become closer friends after I left. But we all kind of kept in touch. And it wasn't until about 4 years ago when I decided to branch from Instagram to YouTube. And because I was inspired to do other things, I was recently unemployed. And I was deciding, do I go back into like the finance industry or do I do something else? And the something else to me was my passion. And I always loved comic books. I was already doing comic stuff. So I decided, let's just try it out. I'm going to go all in on comics. This is the time to do it, right? The company I was working for got bought out by Amazon, and Amazon fired everybody. When I say fired, laid everyone off. And I got I got severance and things like that. So I actually had like a cushion to, safety net a little bit. That it was like, all right, if I'm going to take a chance, this is the time to do it in my life. So I did it. And I wrote a script. And if you go, the videos are still on YouTube, Comic Fam. They're cringy, but they're there. My first couple videos were like just me on camera, spitting fire.
Directly into the camera.
Yeah, it's just me spitting fire, talking about whatever.
Doing a lot of this, a lot of...
Yeah, and talking about comic books that are whatever. And I wrote 2 scripts, and
Action
I realized...
Comics in the wall.
That was it. That was it. That was the first
one.
Someone found an Action Comics in the wall of their home. And I realized I am not that great at writing. And if I'm going to do this on camera just by myself, I basically have to do some type of teleprompter or something. And I have to write my scripts out completely because just riffing is really tough. It's improv. And I've never improv before. So I reached out to you right out the gate and I'm like, yo, dude, I need your help. Can you help me write some scripts? And yeah, you did. You helped me write the scripts and I did it on camera. And then we decided to do a video together. Do you remember the first video we did? Because I enjoyed it so much that it changed the show forever. It's like, oh, you guys don't want to just see me riffing. Like, we got to riff off each other. We're all part of this community and this is better. Do you remember our first video?
I distinctly remember the first video, which is weird because I never remember anything, but I remember this one very clearly. It was about Jared.
Jared Fogle.
Correct. That is an
Subway
appropriate sound
pedophiler.
Effect. Subway pedophile Jared Fogle. Yes,
We did a video about that because he has an appearance in DC Comics that was so strange, and we dove into that comic book.
That was our first little, comic breakdown, if you will.
I found it interesting
because
I knew this book existed
bizarre.
And we found it. And it was a very bizarre video, but yeah, that's on the channel. But that was our first video, and that started everything.
Down. It's all down there.
And that's how we kind of got this whole thing rolling.
And that, led into some Infinity Gauntlet stuff. And, from then on there, we did the live shows and mail call stuff started popping off around then. And then I started doing this full time.
There we go.
And now here we are.
Here we are. What do you think about that, Comic Fam? I mean, we kind of just breezed past 4 years to catching us to this point.
We had to talk about Cinnabons and stuff.
But I think it's an important thing to mention that, Anthony says, hey, how did you meet Russ? That's a video coming soon. I'm going to have a podcast with him. Probably give you a break one of these weeks and kind of do a deep dive with Golden Age Guru and Russ, probably separately, give them their own time to talk about where they came from and how we got to this point. But
Do you remember the first time Russ and I had a podcast together?
yeah.
The first time I ever sat down with him and talked to him?
Was that the first time?
The first time I talked to, because I went to visit, he was like the shop owner.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
I talked to him for like 10 minutes every week or so.
But he was there.
But him and I had a discussion on the microphone about poop.
Oh, that's right.
It was great.
Oh my gosh.
One of my favorite things I've ever done.
One of the first times you actually hung out with Russ?
That was the first time him and I were on camera together.
Oh.
And that's the first time I hung out with him. Yeah, like
Wow.
at your house. And it wasn't just at the shop.
Batman Damned was the first time.
Like 2018 was when this whole thing started, man. And that was
Dude,
the summer.
So Comic Fam, like I'm friends with all these guys separately, but they weren't all friends with each other. Like
No.
I know Golden Age Guru through Russ and other people. Ryan knows them through me.
I think we all probably know each other through you.
Yeah, like everyone. I'm the.
You're the core of our galaxy, Tom.
There we go. I'm like the black hole.
You're like the croissant of our galaxy.
So that's interesting. The first time that you did an actual video with someone that you didn't know, that's a major staple of our channel, was about Bruce Wayne's Willie being seen for, I believe, the first time in comic books.
But we also started talking about poop.
Yeah, so Poop and Willie. So there we go. Poop and Willie, Comic Fam. This is where you get when you subscribe to the channel. Comic book themed content. Fire Guy Ryan is in the house, and this is a little bit of a flashback there. But yeah, we met at the bank, and I think it's another thing where it's like, you never know opportunities in your life. Like I didn't know I was going to meet one of my best friends at that time.
I hated that job.
I did too.
The worst job I've ever had.
Oh, everything.
6 months. Less than 6 months.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was definitely rough. I mean, but it's just how it goes.
After you left, I got talked to like, after you left, I would actually get called into the manager's office, but for bad reasons. They'd
Yeah.
be like, yo, you got to make more sales. You are bad at this. Like, if you don't put your numbers up, like, you're going to get in trouble.
There it is.
It didn't work for me.
But that's how you, I don't know.
And you thankfully remembered that information that, hey, that Ryan guy is not very good at like pushing stuff on people. He's very easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And good at like making people's
A lot of-
deposits and
a lot of other
withdrawals and
things.
stuff.
Actually, the thing that allured me most, that interested me most in getting you on the channel, aside from your ability to perform and like host, like you can do it. which is
Physical appearance.
aside from your sexiness.
Aside from
course.
all of that. Yeah.
It was that you had showed me a video you made in film school that you wrote. And that video had a couple random jokes in it that were like edited jokes where you had like a gun.
Okay, that's not on YouTube anymore, by the way. You can't find that anymore.
I know.
I'm so depressed. I loved that thing.
But
it was for a film contest we did, me and some friends in college, for like a 4-minute short film contest that you had to make within 72 hours. Like,
Yeah.
write it, film it, edit, and get it submitted in 72 hours.
So you did this thing and you told me like, yeah, you wrote it. Like you were a part of like the joke writing and it was funny. And I remember thinking, oh, he gets it. The editing mind, the timing, knowing something that's going to make you uncomfortable. Maybe it may make you feel a little embarrassed to perform it, but when you edit it right, when you do it right,
Yeah.
you put yourself out there, it still may suck. Doesn't matter. Do it again. And eventually it gets good.
We won the contest, man. I can't.
There we
There's
go.
no evidence of this. Actually, no, I still have the little there's a little fake Oscar thing that I have somewhere in my apartment
There we go.
on display, of course.
Well, that right there is what I took away from. It's like, oh, this person's got an improv bug that they can, if they grow it, maybe we could do something fun. And then we would actually do most of the videos on this channel earlier in the conception. We're trying to figure out our footing. Was a lot of breakdown videos. I think our weekly videos are kind of like that, like when we do dives into reviews and such. But specifically the videos about like one issue where we're reenacting stuff and we're picking stuff out that's funny and
Making silly voices,
Yeah.
stuff that kind of carries on to today.
yeah, those are actually I look at that as the foundation of the channel and what trained me to do hosting stuff. But also the whole production, figuring out how to manage the cameras, the audio, the microphones, the
B-roll.
all the above. Like I learned all of that through those times and those challenges, but that's how it goes. So you never know who you're going to meet in your life, Comic Fam. Sometimes you may be working a job that you feel like is dead end, but that one friend there, maybe your best friend, it just may take a couple years for that to grow. And then now you work with us and we're doing all this stuff together and we're both in comics full time. What's up?
Life is weird. I kind of wish I could go back. and like be a ghost observing that job interview, or any one of those days where I would just like walk into that building like, oh my God, I hate this place. I hate working here. But just like,
right.
It matters.
It does. You never know, comic fam. You never know.
Book has hit $20. Let off the gas, comic fan, unless you're really gunning for some jackfruit goodness.
$75 cover price on this. Don't overbid. But if somebody wants it, we got it.